because the regulator has to accept the interconnection agreements. We don't accept an interconnection agreement with less than 8 cents or something like that to protect that money. And after they start not to declare traffic, and because we are seeing 100% of the traffic, the regulator can say, oh, you are receiving, let me say, 100 million per month, and you are just declaring 80 million. That means there are 20 million that you are non-declaring. You have to do the invoice for that 80 million. That means you have to invoice your mother company with more 20 million minutes that belongs to the country. And that money goes to the profits of the operator, and the operator, that is the daughter company, will pay taxes in the country. That is our concept of revenue. We are looking on different ways that the big operators around the world are, I'll say, cheating, and they are, I'll say, avoiding to pay taxes in countries. And that is our concept of revenue assurance. We will give the data, of course, in that case, because we are losing on incoming minutes, we put on our contract that you have to request an additional invoice because we need to be paid. But there are some types of revenue assurance that I told you about, the streaming video applications that we give information. The revenue assurance entity collects better the VAT, and we don't request any money to the VAT. That is to them. And if they don't want to do, or if they do it incorrectly, it's the country that is losing money. But we give the information to that revenue assurance entity to do their job.
So just quickly, two questions, and then I'm finished. I also have my colleagues here. They may
Okay.
have some. First one is that about the, just theoretically just assume that the operators we have, because the regulatory framework is becoming more and more open nowadays. Yeah. For example, the possibility of gray traffic, or the concern about the gray traffic, especially for voice and SMS, is becoming less important, because everything is going IP, and the regulatory model is also becoming changed. But definitely it's a strength of your system that you can also provide insight about the OTT uses, especially when the VAT is involved. Yeah. But at the same time, you are not getting a share of the VAT, because that is payable to the government, and there's a separate government entity. So if so, and if you are not having a commercial agreement with the government, just theoretically assuming that, and if I think that, okay, things are going fine, that everything is coming in white route, the voice and the SMS, then how your model of sustainability, for example, your investment, your subsystem, how it would be sustainable for you? So this is
a good question, because it's one of my concerns, is to explain in each country to our board, when we are going to invest, how we are guaranteeing that our investment is not lost. And in different countries, and I did make the work for your country, but in the majority of the countries, with the incoming traffic, minutes of incoming traffic of IDD voice, SMSs, and on SMSs we just pick up the A2P, not the normal SMS. We don't charge any levy, but on the A2P SMSs, on the IDD voice traffic, and the OTT voice traffic, voice and video traffic, because we are measuring in minutes per operator how much that operator is terminating on OTT. If we pick up that, and I can tell you with Bangladesh, with my experience, let me tell you my experience in Pakistan, I believe with 10 cents or 11.10 per minute, we pay our investment in a sustainable way. That means, because what we see is, and I see your concern, is a transfer between normal IDD calls to OTT calls. But because we put in the contract that we put our levy also on OTT calls, the transfer of technology is, for us, is a normal thing. That means maybe in some years we are going to have 0 minutes on IDD. I believe it's going on that direction. Even the operators are preparing themselves for that. That means we are preparing ourselves also for that.
No, that's my actually concern, that if everything goes to OTT or on IP rather than IDD, and if we don't have a strict financial model for OTT calls, if we are liberalizing the market, opening up the market, then what will happen to you?
Yeah, well, no, that's a good question. That's why we put in the contract that the government must set up a levy over OTTs also, or IDD, OTT. For us, it's the levy must be the same independent of the technology, because in 15 years, we don't know which technology. We are capable to measure minutes of conversation, interaction, and we are charging on all that minutes, and the government set up that levy. That means with our information, we can call, for instance, let me give a simple example. You call a company named WhatsApp, and you say you are terminating 100 million minutes in the operator A, 150 million, and you have to pay to the government the levy multiplied by that minutes. That's what we put on the contract. That means you can liberalize the market, but you must, that we are not asking for something that is very strange, because in Europe and across the world, the operators are pushing, I don't know what happens in your country, but the operators, they are pushing the regulators to regulate the OTT traffic, because the OTT traffic today is responsible for the saturation of their networks. That means they are investing money in networks, they are investing money on IP interconnection that costs some millions per month. In Bangladesh, it's a huge population. I believe there are hundreds and hundreds of millions paid by interconnection, and that interconnection in the networks are used by OTT companies that doesn't pay nothing to anybody. And the concept is to give also to the OTTs the same approach long time ago was done for the normal minutes. They have to pay the use of the network. If the operators, they want to give that for free, the country will put the levy to pay the audit service to be capable to control this and to be able to define strategies to protect the country. I'm traveling, I can tell you I'm traveling all around the world. And I have a very, very sensitive approach to the quality of service of the IP. And the most part, when I am in a country and I can make my calls or my things during the night, and I cannot do it at 7 or 8 in the afternoon, is because the interconnections are saturated. And the operators, they don't want to pay more money, because if they pay more money, who is going to pay that? The local users, because the operators, they have to charge the local users. That means to give a more correct use of the internet, to lower your costs to the local users. As regulator, you must regulate the OTT. That is the trend. In Europe, it's the European Union is going to regulate next year. It's not even a question if I do that, is when you do that. And with a system like ours, you can do that and control the evolution of the market and impose this type of things in a very correct way. Because information is the most important thing to define strategies. If you have the full information, you can do it. Did I give you my point?
Yeah, that's quite clear. I think
quite clear. Yeah, quite clear.
About the capability and the scope of the system is quite clear. But I think in addition to the minute or traffic-based compensation mechanism, with the change dynamic, it totally depends on the market. With the change dynamic, there may be some other aspect of the commercial agreement, especially when you have a big commitment to invest. So apart from that, that's I think.
Yeah. No, let me give you another example that is the case. Maybe in Bangladesh you have that. I received today, because I'm working with lots of people, for instance, I received from we are negotiating with Kenya also, and the persons from Kenya, they are helping us in Sudan. And as you know, Sudan is in war. And I can give you, I received it this morning, the government of Sudan decide for security reasons to cut calls done on OTT. That means this platform has this possibility. But this platform is used in Dubai and the Emirates States, not to cut the traffic, but to modulate the bandwidth. That means you can use the bandwidth for free. You don't pay in a very limited way. If you want to use all the bandwidth, you have to pay because you are using resources. This also defends the country about, I believe Bangladesh, like other countries, wants to implement e-government. On the health system, you want to give people the access to information, doctors to have all these needs internet, the banks needs internet. You cannot afford to have companies like WhatsApp or like other companies like the video streaming application using all your bandwidth for free, receiving money for their service, and they don't give nothing to the country. You cannot. That is something that is in the head of lots of regulators that I had discussed, is how to solve this problem. That's why we designed the platform like that, because personally, I have been also consultant of certain regulators across the world, and I know a little bit what are the concerns.
So my last point is, for the time being, is it's related to the previous one, that how sensitive it will be for a regulator to put a foreign system, in that sense, who don't have a contractual or licensing obligation with us, because every license, they have a legal agreement with us. A license is a legal document under the law of the land, but GMT don't have that agreement or don't have the authorization. As you said, that you don't need a license to operate, though you will operate under the authorization of the regulator, maybe through a contract.
Through a contract, yeah.
That may actually keeping my whole international traffic dependent on your system to a foreign system that does not have a legal bindings under the law of the land. How wise it will be for the regulator. So that is also a question. If not myself, but my colleagues, they may also raise that question.
I understand your concern. That's why we designed this system in a decentralized way to avoid this argument of the single point of failure, or to say that the traffic of a country is depending on our system. No, it's depending on some modules of our system, and each module deals with one circuit. It's not exactly that. But what I'm saying is our contract is with the government through the regulator, and we implement also some I would say some functions to protect you. For instance, all the information that we pick up from the telecommunication flows, of course, is sensitive information. Operator A wants to be sure that the information from their own operation doesn't go to the hands of the operator B. The only entity that can collect that information is the regulator. That means everything that we write on the database passes by a layer of encryption. And that encryption guarantees the government that the data that is there, that is owned by the government, cannot be accessed by my international engineers or by my Bangladeshi engineers that are working just to see if the system is working well. They don't have access to the information. That is one of the things that we put to guarantee that we are under the laws of the country. And the other thing is that we, in that local company, we propose always to have a supervision committee that is maybe with people from the regulator, people from the financial revenue assurance, for the intelligence service. And that committee is the committee that guarantees to the government that what we are doing functionally, it's allowed by the contract. We don't want to have an activity and to have some claims saying that you are doing things that are not on the contract. That means we propose to have that people with us with a mandate to do the supervision, because, as you say, I agree fully with you, on the regulatory area, the regulator or the government must guarantee that this company that is doing a service under a contract, in the contract we have clauses saying that the information is protected, our operation is controlled, and we are answering to this committee, or we are answering to the regulator if the government decides it's only the telecommunication regulator that does that job. That means we are not operating in an independent way. We are operating on behalf and under the guidance and the control of the state by the agencies that the state decides. That is our position. I agree fully with you. It's a very sensitive legal aspect that we want also to protect.
I'm almost finished. In how many countries you are operating?
We are at this time we are in 11, and we are maybe signing in August more 2 countries.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I have a question. One question. What are the challenges you are facing about your system or your platform? Technically,
yeah, the best of all, the major challenge is when we start to design the system to guarantee to work in a very, very close partnership with the regulator to be sure that we receive the correct and full information about the interconnection circuits that the regulator wants to audit. And for us, we want to audit 100% of the international. In the national, it's not a business for us, it's a service we do for the regulator. But in the international, it's our business. And our experience is when we put the system working, never we have 100% of the circuits controlled. But we install applications, we install some ways to detect that our traffic that is bypassing us, and we continue in a partnership with the regulator to detect. Sometimes we detect circuits that the regulator was not aware. I can give an example in a country in Latin America, is Venezuela. We install the system and we detect that 3 fiber optic cables, 2 coming from Colombia and another coming from Brazil, were not listed or not known by the regulator. And the majority of the gray traffic and illegal traffic was coming on that circuit. But with our tools, we are capable, well, I can discuss these techniques, but we are capable to detect
my last question is that about the challenges about the regulator that is we have understood. What about the technology? Technology is changing every day. So yeah, how do you...
Yeah, good question also. What we have done is we designed the system in a modular way. That means I do a country like Bangladesh or like Pakistan in the same way I do a small country like the one of the countries we are going to sign next month is Gambia. It's a very small country because it's modular. I install everything is modular. To handle a certain type of traffic, I can install 20 or 25 modules in parallel, and I do load balancing on that modules. That allows me different things. If one module goes wrong and stops, the traffic is distributed by the others. That means the system doesn't see. My NOC sees an equipment in red, and we go there and we fix it. The second thing is we have to cope with the capacity of the system. We have to add more modules. If the system, because every year we have more traffic, I continue to add modules, and I do that in the same structure. I don't touch anything stops. I just put more modules to distribute the additional traffic. And the third point is each time an equipment is obsolete, because in telecommunication, maybe in 5 years, he is obsolete. Each time I change an equipment for more capacity, because modern equipments, maybe they have twice the capacity of the older ones. When I'm doing this installation for capacity, I'm taking out the old ones, I'm putting new ones. And that is my basic platform that is going to be transmission, line cards, and capacity. When I'm speaking about functionalities and new things, I have engineers developing new things, I install verticals of software. That means I'm not going to stay 15 years with the same software. I'm going to update that software according to the new protocols, the new functions, the new requirements of the country, the new challenge. And because I'm paid by the success, the government has a guarantee that I continue to develop better vertical applications. That's the modularity of the system on hardware and software that gives me a guarantee that I can stay 15 years without any big problem. I don't know if on your side as engineers or technicians, you understand my, that was a way to design the system to guarantee that we can get 15 years without any problem. Because it's our risk. We are investing, we are paying the upgrades, we are paying the operations, and we are, I would say, repaying the initial investment. Our model is during 12 years. Sorry?
Johar, কোনো question না থাকলে আমরা শেষ করতে
No,
পারি।
I think I'm fine. It's quite clarifying. So thank you very much. Thank you for that.
Let me propose something. I don't know if you have on your documents our generic technical document. I will send to my connection, and he will distribute it. And if we need, we can have another call like this.
Yes, sure.
Because for us, that document, I thought to send it before, but because I didn't knew exactly the persons or the objective of the meeting, I didn't send it. But we don't have any problem to send.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Ignacio. It was a great pleasure. Thanks everybody for participating. So we are ending it for today. Please send me the
I send you the document.
document, and I can distribute it to everybody.
You distribute to everybody.
Yes, and hope to meet you in a Zoom meeting and in person soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah. Goodbye. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much to all for your time and for your interest also. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.